The world of basketball has seen many prodigious talents with exceptional knack, prowess, a unique blend of size and agility. So much to keep fans and experts captivated for the longest time. But one super young player is arguably proven to remain the rave of the now. But can his mastery and versatility earn him the Rookie of the Year title? Well, hold that thought. Now, this yearly award, the National Basketball Association Rookie of the Year Award by the National Basketball Association, NBA, started way back in the 1952-53 NBA season to recognize the most popular player of the regular season. Previously, the selected players were honored with the Eddie Gottlieb Trophy, which is named after the former Philadelphia Warriors captain. But since the 2022-23 NBA season, the Wilt Chamberlain Cup has been awarded to the winners named after the previous Rookie of the Year winner. In history, we have had the likes of Brandon Roy, Derrick Rose, Emeka Okafor, and LeBron James, just to mention a few, clinch the Rookie of the Year title, so it is a big deal. However, there's a selection process for players deemed worthy of inclusion. Typically, NBA teams hire experts whose job is to evaluate a player's talent or the opposite team's defensive plan or strategy. But here's the catch. They seek young talents or existing players whose rights can be acquired through free agents or trades. These experts, called scouts, organize the team by examining the ideas or strategies of the opposing teams. As for the winners, they're usually selected by a jury of American and Canadian sports journalists and broadcasters, each voting first, second, and third, 5 points, 3 points, and 1 point respectively. The player with the highest score wins the prize regardless of the number of first-place votes. Interestingly, one exceptionally good young player has captured the hearts of many with his astounding play. So much so that we can't seem to get enough of him. But you know how the saying goes, different strokes for different folks. Victor Wembanyama might be doing it for us, but certainly not for others. For some, he's not much of a news anymore, as it's believed that the big man may not stand the chance of winning the Rookie of the Year for the 2023-24 season. Now, here's the reason why many seem to have lost faith in Wemby, apart from the fact that there are other young players who are ready to give him a run for his money. During the summer season, many players came to the fore, as Wemby's had since the lottery season, but on his first night as a pro, the Frenchman played 27 minutes, of which he appeared inconsistent, out of shape, and lacking the finesse that we all love to see. However, at the defensive corner, he contributed 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 3 assists. The points were short compared to his skill, and the number of shots he made on the field, 2 wins, 13 points, and 1 assist per game, -6 for threes and 4 to 4 for free kicks. Nonetheless, expectations are high for this player that's been talked about and written about in such a short time, with the comparison spicing up his entire NBA career. But if not the one who's considered the best prospect to enter the NBA since LeBron James, then who can claim Rookie of the Year? Which players have the needed skill and, of course, the right teammates to facilitate productive campaigns that can launch them as the Roy? No doubt, San Antonio Spurs' Victor Wembanyama is the best by the books to win the 2023-24 Rookie of the Year at -125. Actually, he is a favorite to win the Rookie of the Year bet at PointsBet, but there are a few players who might ruin the welcome party. Here are the top 5 players who will give Wembenyama more than just a bit of competition in the Rookie of the Year race. Typically, you don't pick a player outside the lottery and have as much expectation as him becoming one of the rookies of choice. But trust us when we say Keye George was born to break the rules. Interestingly, George is not only going to a team whose front court is loaded, with of course some concerns in the backcourt, but he also happens to be one of the strongest cases for Rookie of the Year. Out of the spots 3, 4, and 5, occupied by Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, and Walker Kessler, who are prominent starters for the Utah Jazz, no greenhorn in the game has come close to locking down any of those spots or even guarding them. A few have been inside track to minutes, but only George seems to be ready to carry the entire summer league on his back. For one, in 6 games between Salt Lake City and Las Vegas, George averaged 18.7 points and 5.3 assists in 26.4 minutes per game, while shooting 38.6% from the three-point range. It's a small sample size, we get that, and playing in summer games is always scary, but George appears to be able to lead more in offense with ease or in the defensive blocking combo. If George proves he can handle these spots, then we see absolutely nothing holding him back from raising glasses with Collins and Kessler, and that automatically puts him in the spotlight with plenty of open looks. The next player that's believed will smoke Wembenyama in the race for the Rookie of the Year is Brandon Miller. The Charlotte Hornets already have at least one star in LaMelo Ball, and Miles Bridges will finally play in the required formation after averaging 20.2 points per game in the league. But believe it or not, Brandon Miller won't have much of a chance if PJ Washington returns too. But in 2022-23, the Charlotte Hornets finished 28th in three-pointers per game and 29th in three-pointers. Much of this was due to injuries, but it's hard to argue that this team didn't need to shoot. This has to be Miller's greatest talent for the NBA. While a student at Alabama, Miller averaged 18.8 points and 2 rebounds per game, 9 three-pointers, 38.4% from the free line, and 85.9% from the free line. This is a high-capacity and high-volume floor-slat set. If he can score a few points per game, use his height to disrupt defensive play, and help the Hornets compete for a spot, then he has a chance to qualify for the Rookie of the Year award. Quick question: who is the easiest point scorer? Let's see. Houston Rockets, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and Kevin Porter Jr. Yeah, right. But we have eyes on the Boston Celtics defense, thanks to the new coach, Ime Udoka. This could help Armen Thompson with a soft landing. Even as a rookie with a combination of his wingspan of 7 feet and a passion for impacting the defense, Thompson will be one of the league's higher-end athletes, and also earn Coach Udoka's favor. More so, his willingness to pass could also help him collect his rotation minutes. But then again, more shots could go to the veterans previously mentioned. But that doesn't mean Thompson can make an impact and increase his rookie numbers. Talking about shots going to veterans, Damian Lillard remains a key player for the Portland Trail Blazers, but his departure also remains inevitable. Whenever that happens, the team will definitely be in the hands of quarterback Scott Henderson. While his outside shots might work for G League Ignite, he looks strong at mid-range and can get into the paint area at any time. And when it comes to breaking through multiple defensive lines, smashing defenses, and finding a shooter or spiker to kick or drop the ball, which is a crucial factor in the NBA point guard, then Henderson checks the list. However, the biggest thing to like about Rookie of the Year is the chance to appear below the line. Assuming the Lillard swap fails, Henderson will shoot and drive more. Remember, in missing a lot, volume can still win the award. Even Paolo Banchero was an unrated rookie during his campaign. The last person that comes close to overshadowing Wembenyama in the Rookie of the Year award is Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren spent a year off the court in the NBA and played a different role with the Oklahoma City Thunder. While Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, and Jalen Williams are the team's third top scorers for the second year in a row, Holmgren seems to know just what to do as they battle for the rim. If that leads to a double-digit average score, Holmgren could be in contention for Rookie of the Year, as that number doesn't even come close to his maximum impact as a newbie. For all we know, Holmgren looks like an NBA-ready hoop guard who, like Wembenyama, should start some games in 2022-23 with Jalen Williams, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, and even Aleksej Pokusevski. His instincts and talent as a shooting blocker will make him the league shooting blocker leader and possibly win the Roy title. But in all of this, the San Antonio Spurs are still winning. But they are worried that the newcomers are not doing well. Well, who wouldn't be? Truth be told, it appears only Wemby is feeling the heat as the expectations from fans and pros seem to be building up an amount of pressure on him, capable of blowing up the rooftop. Pro Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors totally agrees. I think people are setting him up for failure, like, oh, he's going to be an all-star next year. Man, it's hard to become an all-star in this league. Green voices concerns. Now, if he does, God be with him, more power to you, Green added. But to say he's gonna be an all-star next year, as if he doesn't have to figure this game out, I don't really buy that. I think he will be special, but an all-star next year, I think that's a bit much. We're standing with Green on this one. Despite the fact that our anxieties are valid concerning Wembenyama not being in form and the possibility of other young players outshining him for Roy, we really need to cut the young man some slack. Or do you think the pressure being mounted on him is necessary to keep him on his toes?